Welcome back, YouTubers, to another spiffing edition of the British Fist Smackdown review on this Friday, or Saturday, or Sunday, or whenever the fuck you're watching this. Mr. Parkin here. No, I do not drink Budweiser. My mum got it for me from a charity shop for about £2, which is about $3. This guy sitting next to me is wearing this lovely Mickey Mouse tie. It's none of the NJ, people. What's up? How smart does he look now that tie is covering his... I was only joking. You can't see me. Just joking. Make sure you guys subscribe to us. Comment your thoughts on this Smackdown down in the comment section below. Give this video a like as well. That would be pretty appreciated. Also, we've got a video on Sunday coming up where me and NJ are going to discuss should CM Punk end the streak. So check out that video when it comes out. It'll be uploaded on Sunday evening.
And please make sure you contact us, the British Fist, in the links in the description box below if you haven't done already.
And it's time to begin the review with our in-ring action and booking portion of this review. Unlike Raw, where we have like 9 or 10 matches to fill 3 hours, on SmackDown this week, we only had 4 matches, the first of which was Chris Jericho versus Wade Barrett, a match which I guess a lot of people probably wanted to see at WrestleMania.
And so did Chris Jericho. With this match, it went the way you expect. Chris Jericho being the performer he is, Barrett trying to grow, but WWE holding him back. But again, like we're going to get to later, was more about the storyline.
Yeah, Chris Jericho wins this one. Ziggler, Langston, and AJ versus Kane, Daniel Bryan, and Caitlyn. That was there to forward on 2 storylines. Caitlyn pins AJ. I'm actually quite glad that happened because I think that needs a little bit more build in the tag title match right now, and I'm glad that no one in the tag title match did any kind of job here. I think that was the best way to go.
The way I compliment this match is, yes, they were concentrating on the Divas thing, trying to get that build, but the thing that stood out for me was Langston didn't get pinned, because obviously with him being undefeated, with him still being a growing wrestler in the company, and still needing a feud, still needing a match, holding that back for a later point, it showed in this match that he still wanted to watch out for.
Also, it means that he will not be making his debut at WrestleMania because he made his debut on SmackDown. So there we go. Swagger versus Khali. This kind of makes sense in the way that, you know, Swagger's America. They're trying to get rid of the, you know, people outside of America. You know, this wasn't a great match or anything, but this kind of made sense from a storyline standpoint and from Swagger's character standpoint. Swagger gets the win, and we kind of should have really expected that with them being the #1 contender going into WrestleMania. Main event of the evening was Orton, Sheamus, and Big Show versus Cody Rhodes, Damian Sandow, and Antonio Cesaro.
I really don't know who won this.
Yeah, Rhodes, Cesaro, and Sandow are pretty much enhancement talent right now. But yeah, really unpredictable result here. The babyfaces win. That's probably really how it should have gone down. So to open up the show, we had the return to SmackDown of none other than The Rock. Surprised this wasn't announced on Raw.
I think they really should have done this. Yes, with Rock not making too many TV appearances, and especially with that warming up to the main event they did on Raw, I really believe that they should have done a big SmackDown promo, finally going to return back to SmackDown. Really got the viewers thinking, oh, there's something going to happen on SmackDown, but no.
It's nice to see The Rock on SmackDown, the show which was originally revolved around his catchphrase. So we got it. He was in the ring. We got the story about how he kicked Candy ass and how it was associated with the town they were in, before finally talking a little bit about John Cena. We then get the return, not just of The Rock. This was a bigger return. None other than Mr. Excitement himself, Johnny Ace. It was fucking awesome. Johnny Ace is back. Maybe for one night, maybe for a week. We don't really know.
And that's another thing. Yes, it may have been for a one-night return, but still, if you want to catch people's attention, you should be announcing like The Rock's going to be on SmackDown bigger than what it was. No one else is going to make a return, unless they were that surprise or a one-off. But with him returning, him being in the ring with The Rock, yes, he had a purpose, which we'll get to here, but Johnny Ace is back.
He comes out saying that he wants to be in Rock's corner because Cena was the reason that he was fired. And just throughout this segment, the interaction between Rock and John Laurinaitis, I think this shows why John Laurinaitis is a useful character for TV. It's funny, really, because he's so bad, it's so easy to make fun of him, and it's just, to me, this is just gold. Johnny Laurinaitis and The Rock.
And for true businessmen, for respect, we need to shake hands.
We do.
Yeah, that was the spot. You expect that. He did to Michael Cole. He said it in past to Austin. You knew there was something coming, especially when you said, I'm not going to rock bottom him, I'm not going to rock bottom him. You knew it was coming, and that part there, they obviously goes on saying, I'm going to kick your ass again at WrestleMania. And it's a typical Good opening, but again, I believe this should have been more announced, especially on the most seen show, Raw.
Seems like me and Johnny Ace do have something in common, though. We're both businessmen. So Rock hits the people's elbow to send the fans opening the show happy. Just really funny that it happened to Johnny Ace. Triple H and Brock Lesnar, they kind of hyped this a little bit. They had that interview with Paul Heyman saying his entire career is on the line and how it will lead to Triple H's demise, not just in the ring, but in his COO job. I thought, again, typical Heyman, very good on the mic here.
This could have been counted as a third person who could have been announced or some involvement to SmackDown, because Heyman appeared on SmackDown. We wouldn't expect it because CM Punk's a Raw wrestler, Triple H's on Raw, Take's on Raw, everything's all going on Raw. So the fact that it didn't announce this, but again, Heyman on his own speaking directly about the match and Lesnar and Triple H, you expect it to be gold, you expect it to be good, you expect, and plus having some stuff on SmackDown to forward storylines, it's needed to give SmackDown their little spots.
Hey, at least it wasn't a fucking video package. Say that, but they got a video package, but at least it wasn't solely a video package. It was like an interview, something. Punk and Taker, that was a video package from Raw, kind of standard, really. The AJ and Caitlyn feud, which they're pushing to WrestleMania, they tied that in with Team Hell No and Ziggler and Langston. Both were forwarded in that 6-man tag where Caitlyn got the pin on AJ.
Well, with this, I think definitely with these next 2 two shows on SmackDown, this Divas match needs to be on both shows, not just Raw. It needs a follow-up on SmackDown because really this has been a last minute thinking. Right, we need to get the Divas something to do at WrestleMania. What two top Divas shall we use? AJ and Caitlyn.
You know, and Team Hell No and Ziggler and Langston, it's not going to be Langston's debut anymore, oh well, but that does need a little bit more build, in my opinion, as well. Miz and Barrett, that's a set match at WrestleMania now. You had Miz on commentary during Barrett's match, and his distraction allowed Chris Jericho to get the victory. Kind of standard, sort of not going to write for this segment too much, kind of continue on story. And even though I really do think they could have built this as 2 movie stars, man. Come on.
I know they're really trying to build Chris Jericho up for his wins towards Fandango, but did they really need to use Barrett, who also needs to look good, ready for his match against The Miz? Maybe not the best opponent. Maybe they could have been two set matches, which gave us 6 tonight, or 5. But again, the Barrett and Miz thing teased outside the ring, did the Fandango thing, all linked up.
Yeah, and then after the match, actually, we had some more advancement of the Fandango Chris Jericho feud. Jericho saying that he wanted to go after the IC belt, but instead he finds himself going after Fandango after all the shenanigans. Jericho makes fun of Fandango's name again, using that famous Queen song.
Yes.
Fandango.
With Chris Jericho, he's most famous for when someone's got like Santino or someone, he goes on and on trying to put as many names as you can. Yes, it's the comedy effect of Chris Jericho. This is getting teased on numerous shows. Yeah. Raw, SmackDown. This is getting somewhere. So the more they do with this, the more fans are going to look into it.
Oh, no. What a catchy tune that was. Thank you, Duke THS. We have Fandango coming out. Hey, Jericho's a smart mark. He saw the entrance. He was like, yeah, I know Fandango's going to come out. I just can't pronounce his name correctly. And Fandango walks to the ring as if to say, I'm going to fight you, Jericho. And then pretty much walks off and does a little dance. Pretty standard segment there, really. The segment which we were most looking forward to on the show, and one of the reasons why we felt this show might be quite good, was the segment between Mark Henry and Ryback, the bench press challenge. You know, a unique way of using 2 bigger guys, not being in any kind of match, no one having to do any jobs. What did you think to this segment?
Well, building up to WrestleMania, we do expect, like we said last week, there to be debates, the Q&As and stuff. So to do a challenge like this, which was a weightlifting challenge for 2 wrestlers who you probably represent with weightlifting and stuff, like arm wrestling between Cardi and Triple H back in the past, stuff like that. It built up to this. Yes, you expect Mark Henry to maybe be the dominant one, the world's strongest man, but they actually did put over Ryback quite strong before Mark Henry did the heel maneuver.
They were. I mean, you see Mark Henry's the world's strongest man, and Ryback pretty much matched him here. And if it wasn't for Mark Henry dropping the bar on Ryback's neck and causing him to choke, you know, he probably would have beat him on that bench press challenge. But this was it wasn't like a great segment or an exciting segment, but it was a unique way of using 2 bigger guys and hyping up to a match which is going to be about Battle of the Strength. And I felt that having Mark Henry push down on Ryback while he was also trying to push up. Again, it's another one of those little teasers of the feats of strength that we want to see between these 2 Bohemians.
And I think, yes, they've got one more week to really since the back and forward that Ryback's had, 6-man tag, now this, they've got one more week to do something a little bit more before they settle it before Mania.
Rio and Swagger. It's got one segment on the show. You had Swagger versus Carly, where after Swagger gets the victory like he should have done, Swagger beats down on Hornswoggle, is about to beat him down. All of a sudden, Rio comes out, locks the armbar on Swagger, and then you have him trying to hit him with the crutch, and he escapes the ring. Again, you know, not the greatest of segments, but a solid segment, I guess, in the way that, you know, this feud has been teased. There's not really too much more you can do with this now, is there?
The best thing about this, I will compliment this, any time you get Swagger and Del Rio in the ring, no matter what, as long as they're in the ring together doing some kind of attack or might work against each other, at least it gives them something instead of keeping them in separate matches and stuff like that. So for this, I will compliment it. But like I said, with the other matches, they've got 1 week left to add a little bit more before Mania.
Who else wants Zeb Coulter's moustache and Ricardo Rodriguez's voice? Just imagine that. Would be fantastic. The main event of this show wasn't really the main angle, so we're going to just include it on this bit. Shield versus Orton, Sheamus and Big Show. 2 segments for this. You had a backstage segment where the Shield were cutting a promo on the Tron. You had that backstage segment, of course, with the new NXT backstage interviewer with Orton, Sheamus and Big Show, showing that they're on level terms. So that kind of set up for our main event where the baby faces win. The Shield come out afterwards, as has been well to know to do in SmackDown main events now, and then they end up brawling in the crowd. The Shield scrambled away. You know, I felt, again, this had to happen. You know, they come from the crowd. The baby faces aren't going to be scared of them, so they went in the crowd to get a piece of them. And yeah, the baby faces came out on top again, but you know, not a bad way to end the show, I thought.
I think for the last 2-3 weeks, whenever the Shield came out to the faces, they've always been like, oh, I'm backing away, backing away. So what made them think coming up this time they were going to do anything different? They just, as soon as the face started to get into the crowd, the Shield just went. I'm thinking, like I said, for the other matches, I'm going to keep repeating this. They got 1 more week. Maybe next week the heels are going to come out on top, ready for the pay-per-view. I don't know how they're going to do it, but any build to these matches that we've named tonight is definitely needed. Yeah,
I mean, it's all really been lately about establishing this kind of last-minute team, which is probably why they've been booked quite strongly as babyfaces, trying to establish the Big Show is the game changer, Orton is the voice of reason, etc.
The only problem with this is, yes, it'll probably be about Sheamus next week because he's the left one out. But I really can see, the thing I did like about this was they really make a Big Show of face. Like, come on, Sheamus, do it, Sheamus. I'm like, not again, Big Show, not again.
Yeah, anyway, let us know what you thought on of the segments and the matches on this week's edition of SmackDown down in the comment section below, NJ.
Thank you very much, people. This has been another video from the British Bears. Please tune in for this weekend because we're talking about CM Punk and The Undertaker before WrestleMania, where the one, the only streak and CM Punk's reign as being the longest reigning champion and the big man he is on the line. But till next time, people, from me, NJ, Mr. Parkin, Mickey Mouse, thank you very much for watching and goodbye.